The United States tax system is unique from systems across the earth. It is split into two major sections, state and federal. Federal tax code is complicated. It contains over 3 million words and about 6,000 pages. Each section is its own hyper-specific section covering its own independently important convention. At the basic level, state and federal tax both have their favored ways of collecting taxes. These are income tax, sales tax, and property tax. Overall, the U.S. tax system is progressive, or follows the income rate of the taxpayer. The collected funds are used for many different systems, from defense to healthcare. In fiscal year 2015, the federal government is projected to spend around $3.9 trillion. These trillions of dollars make up a considerable chunk, around 21% of the U.S. economy, as measured by the gross domestic product, nationalpriorities.com. These funds are divided by the U.S. Treasury into three groups: mandatory spending, discretionary spending, and interest on debt. Interest on debt is the smallest of these categories, and is the interest the government pays on accumulated debt minus interest income received by the government for its assets it owns. Discretionary spending is the portion of the budget that goes through an appropriation process every year. This would be funding set aside for programs that they are preemptively assuming will be needed for new programs. In 2015, the proposed discretionary spending level is $1.16 trillion. Mandatory spending is largely made up of earned benefit or entitlement programs. These are programs like food stamps. Mandatory spending is 2/3 the total federal budget. The final expenses to the U.S. Treasury are tax breaks. Lawmakers have written hundreds of tax breaks into the federal tax code. For example, low tax rates on capital gains, deduction for home mortgage interest. They do this to promote behavior deemed beneficial to society. Described in percentages, the largest percent, 51%, makes up Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. 19% makes up income security, 17% makes up national defense, 7% net interest, 3% transportation, 1% K-12 education, and 3% is unallocated. The public opinion of taxation and federal spending is usually negative. This could be due to a multitude of things. Individuals of high tax brackets will never be satisfied. They will never see the benefits, as the highest pulls of the federal budget are Medicare, Medicaid, income security, and welfare programs. The rampant economic immobility and wealth gaps have left the middle class and lower class wondering where the money is going. In reality, information accessible is just titles and percentages. You would have to audit the federal government in order to know how the funding is being used. An example of misallocation of funding is the recent military aid that the U.S. is providing to Afghanistan. We provide funding, military vehicles and aircraft, and natural gas power plants that the Afghan military ends up scrapping, unable to service or unable to use because they have no idea how to use it. Then the following year we pledge even more aid. The United States has been known to just throw money at an idea rather than fully understanding how the system works and what sections are the most important. This can also be observed through education spending. The United States is number 1 on the education spending list, but 14th on education efficiency ranking. The issue of federal spending is never how much, but where and why.